Math 2, Unit 6.4, page 369. Today we're talking about similarities in right triangles. So a right triangle always has what? Okay, so Theorem 62, and this is on page 369 there. Okay, so an altitude. Hold on a second, let me write this down. Okay, so this is your altitude line right here, okay? And so the altitude drawn to a hypotenuse of a right triangle divides the triangle into two triangles that are similar to the original triangle and to each other. So can you see how we have the big triangle, A, B, C, and then it splits it into this triangle, and so see how this one, they like flipped it around, and it's DCB. And then you also have this other right triangle with DAC. So there's actually three right triangles within this triangle when you draw that altitude. Do you guys see that? Yeah? Okay. And if you want, I'll kind of draw a picture. So this is one right triangle, and that's what they wrote there. And then right here, this is another right triangle that is drawn right here. And then you have the whole big right triangle from the original figure. Okay, and so all of these triangles are, what does it mean here in the middle? They are all similar to each other, which means they're all proportional. Okay, so far so good? All right. Okay, we're going to move on to the next page, which is page 370. Okay. So on page 370, it says, what similarity statements can you write relating the three triangles in the diagram? Okay, so what is super important is that you need to separate the triangles. Okay, so write a note to yourself. So how many triangles am I going to have? Three. Okay, and so I'm going to try to help you draw these triangles. And I'm going to kind of highlight. We'll kind of start with one at a time and highlight it. Okay, so let's draw that triangle here first. Okay, so, and we want them to all end up going the same direction in order to compare them. So if I'm taking this triangle out, this is my 90 degree. Okay, this highlighted one. What letters are there? Okay, so I have an S here, a Q here, and a P here. Okay. Next triangle. I'm going to draw it the same way. Okay. So this one I'm going to highlight in green. Okay, and so we're going to draw this. Okay, and where's my 90-degree angle? Which point? S as well. Okay, now when you were at this one, do you see how there's like a long side and a short side? So the P on this one, it went along with the long, right? This one was the long side from S to P on this original one. Okay, so we want the long side to stay on this one so that they, so that we have them in the same spots. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So looking at this one, which letter would go here to match it up with the long side? B, right? Or no, it's an R, thank you. R, and then this one will be P. Okay, and so then we have one last triangle, which is our big triangle, right? And so I'm going to draw it the same way as I drew these other ones. Okay, and so we have the 90 degree, and what letters with the 90 degree? P. Okay, and then my long, oh my goodness, I can't spell long today. What is the long side on there? What would go down here? R. And then this one is Q. Because for this one, I'm doing this big triangle right here. Okay, so you had the 90, which was at P. The long side was R, and so the other side is Q. Do I need to go back through any of that? So we have the three triangles, and then now we're going to write our similarities. Are you with me? So what do they mean by that? That is when we write triangle. Sorry, I'm going to get a pen here. So if we start here with this first triangle, you just need to start in the same order. So should we just start with the 90-degree angle? Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to write that as SQP. Okay? And that triangle is similar, and let's go to the next triangle. And that one would be what? SPR. And then the third one is triangle PQR. And that's your similarity statement. So if you are able to separate them and write them where they're all in the same order, it makes writing those statements pretty easy once you have written the triangles. Yes? No, like you could, all the triangles, your letters just have to match. Does that make sense? And then same thing with the triangles, it could have been in a different order. Okay? Okay, and then it says, from the similarity statements in part A, write two different proportions using the ratio SR over SP. So if I have SR over SP, so do you see here this triangle? We have SR over SP. So if I match it with this triangle, it would be what on top? SP over what? SQ. Okay, so let's look at that again. So if you go to the triangle that has the SPR, for this statement, they have S and R, so that's why I took S and P, because they're in the same spots. And so that's why that's on the top. And then on the bottom, it has SP, so those two that are right together, and so S and Q are also right together. So that is a similarity proportion, okay? So now they said they want another ratio, because they said write two different ratios, or two different proportions. So I'm going to write SR over SP, and this time I'm going to use this triangle, okay? So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to try to write that on your own. Okay, so what did you get for the top? PR. So again, see how S and R is like the first and the last? So I use P and R, the first and the last. And then S and P are together, and over here, PQ. So those are your two similarity statements. Yes? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do another one together. I'm not going to have you try this one on your own. So the first thing we need to do in order to write our similarity statements is to write out what? The three triangles, right? Okay. So it doesn't matter which triangle we start with. Do you guys want to start with the big one this time? Okay. So if we use the original big triangle and we just write it the same way as it is, what would be my letters here? J, L, and K, however you write that. But we know the K goes with the 90 degree. Okay, so let's just should we just stick with writing the long side? Okay, so I'm going to write down here, and we could even just do L for long side, or maybe we should write long, I don't know. So that's the long side, is JK side. Do you guys agree? Looking at this figure? Okay, so now we have, let's go to this triangle next. So we're going to end up flipping it around so it looks like this triangle. So I'm going to write another triangle with my 90 degree right here. And if you're looking at the one I highlighted, what is the 90 degree angle? Which letter? N. Okay? And if the long side is going this way this time, which one is the long side? What letter should I put here?
L.
L. Okay, see how L is the like hypotenuse that's across from the 90-degree angle? Okay, so that's L, which means up here, this is going to be, no, I did something wrong. Yes. And this is L. Are we okay? Okay, so we have one more triangle. Okay, I'm going to put that one in the green color. Okay, so what letter is with my 90 degree? N. And again, we want this to be the long side, and hopefully we can do this one right this time. So the long side, which letter would go down there? J, good. And then this one up here will be K. All right, so now that we have all those, can you guys write your similarity statements? Just like I did on the got it problem. So let's start always with like the 90-degree angle first. Or, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. So if I do triangle, how did you guys write the first one? K, L, J. Okay. So since I went K to L, that means on the next one, I'm going to go what? N, L, K. Good. And then the last one will be triangle N, K, J. Now, do they have to be in the same order as I did these? No. Okay, I'm going to do the first triangle with you, and then let's see if you guys can end up writing them on your own. Okay, so do you guys want to start with the big one again? Do you guys want me to make the triangle how it looks right here? Do you guys have no opinion? You're not awake yet? Okay. All right. I'm making the big triangle. This is Q, this is R, this is P. Which one was the long side on this one? It was up here on the top, right? Yeah, QP. So I'm just going to put long here. We're going to end up making two more triangles, right? A total of 3. But we want them to all be going the same direction. Okay, so the second triangle, let's do this little one right here. Okay, in your groups, I want you to do this one right here real quick, and then we'll check. So I'll just give you about 10-15 seconds to try to figure out which letters go where. So the 90-degree angle is what? S. Okay, and if this is the long side, okay, what letter should end up going over here? Q. And this one is R. Is everybody okay with that? So if you're looking at this one I highlighted, do you see how the long side right here goes with the Q? Okay, so then our last triangle is this other one here inside. Okay, so I'm going to give you another 15-20 seconds to see if you can get the letters correct over here. Remember that this is going to be the long side. Okay, which one is the 90? S. Which one is the long side? What letter goes over here? P. And then this one is Q. Do you see right here how this is? This right here is longer. S to P is longer than S to Q. Yes? Okay, so let's write our similarity statements. I'm going to write triangle Q, P, R. Okay, you write the next one. So what's one? This one, triangle what? SQR. Very good, SQR. And then the last one will be? And that's it. Those are similarity statements. Do we have questions? Okay, so that was all on page 371. Okay, so now we are gonna move to page 374. Okay, and this is it. We're just gonna do problems 9 through 12, and then we're done. Okay, so first of all, what should I always do first? Very good. Separate the triangles. So let's separate them to make sure that we can write them correctly. Okay, so we're going to have 3 triangles. I'm going to write them like this with the 90-degree here on the bottom. Okay, if I go to my original big triangle, do you see that from the 90-degree, and we're going to go ahead and, which side? Do we want this to be the long side? It doesn't really matter, right? So if I make this the long side, okay, what is the long side on the big triangle? Is it the F side or the D side? F. So that means this is going to be F, which means that this side is going to be D, and then the hypotenuse is of the big triangle, the hypotenuse is J. Is everybody good with that? Do you see that? Okay, so let's draw the next triangle. And again, we want to stick to the right side being the long side. I'm going to highlight here. We'll just do this smaller one inside here first. Caleb, you ready? Okay, so if I'm looking at this triangle right here to start with, my what is my long side? E. Are we all okay with that? Okay. The short side is G, and then the hypotenuse is D on this triangle that I'm looking at right here. So this one's different because they don't have like the points. They're like labeling the sides. All right, is anybody confused right now? Okay, Connor, is there something? Are you sure? And then do you see how like E is the longer side? It's like the altitude of the triangle, where G is the shorter side. So we just have to make sure that we're consistently with that. Okay, and so then I'm going to draw one more triangle. Make our 90-degree here, and this time we are looking at this triangle. And do you see how like if we kind of go through and highlight them and do it one at a time, it's not too bad? Yes? Okay. So looking at this, the easiest one to pick out is actually your hypotenuse. What's the hypotenuse? F, because that's always across from your 90-degree. And then which one is the longer side? Good. So this is going to be H, and then down here is going to be E. Okay, so now that you have that information, filling in the information for 9, 10, and 11, and 12 should be pretty easy. So go ahead, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to get the answer for number 9, and then we'll check it. So you have to go to the triangle that has G and E. So it says G and E. Do you guys see this here? Watch my fingers. So we have G and E, and then it's saying, well, which one has G in the same spot as E? This one to the right, right? So do you see here how G and E? So what would E matches with? H. So H is what is missing. Okay, again, do you see that this triangle has G and E, and then they're wanting you to match G with E in another triangle. And so it matches this triangle with E, so this E has to match with the H. Okay, number 10. Okay, do you see here you have J and D? The first triangle has J and D. So see how you have J over D. Okay, now J, we want to find what other triangle has D in the same spot as J. And it's this one, right? Do you see how J and D are in the same spot on different triangles? And so D matches with G. Okay. So on this next one, we're looking at two triangles that have F. Oops. Okay. So do you see how this triangle has F and this triangle has F? So if you start here, F matches with what? H. And it's H and J. And what's interesting is that these can be interchanged. Like, so this could have been H and this could have been J, or vice versa. This could have been J and this could have been H. It kind of just depends on which way you ended up looking at it. So J and H are the answers. Are we okay with that one? All right, last one, number 12. So you're looking where one triangle has a J and one triangle has a G. So which two triangles are we looking at? The first two, good. So this one has a J and this one has the G. So what's going to go on top across from the J? D. And then what's going to go on the bottom across with the G? D. So both of those should have been D. All right, questions?